So you can kind of see right in here where it's kind of cracked. That's normal, very common. And
all right, hopefully she's compliant. As you can see, she's got some growth on her feet here. And basically what I'm going to try to do is there's a natural line that a goat has on the hoof, and you can probably see it right there. Don't always get it always a perfect line, but that's what you're trying to aim for. So I always start here at the toe, at the front, or the front of the hoof, and I just take off.
Which is the toe.
Right, the toe. But I've done this for so long, I kind of know, you know, if you're beginning, please don't just start taking off chunks because you'll get in trouble. Just start taking off small little pieces.
And that's one good thing about having these handheld clippers like this, is you have a little bit more control with those hoof bosses and grinders and stuff. You know, you can kind of take a little bit too much in the very beginning and not mean to, because it's so it's much more vigorous than this is.
She's not being the sweetest in the world. Now, as you can see, I'm getting closer and closer to that natural hoof line, and you're always going to see some pink. When you're about ready to get there, you need to stop. And my husband's world worst about taking a goat and mauling it to death. And you just, when you start getting down to the pink, which I'm not quite there yet, it just takes time and experience. My first goats that I did, they looked like ducks when I was done with them. I'm trying to get all that dead stuff off. Now,
and don't be scared.
You see the pink? We're there. So that's when we want to back off, and I kind of want to even this out a little bit in the middle. And you can see the line. You can see that natural hoof line. I'll try to get a little bit more on the sides. And then I'm going to start on the other side.
And like I was saying, don't be scared to take hoof off. I've seen a lot of people that are new, especially kids that are trimming like their Weather's feet or their project animal for 4-H or something, and they start trimming their feet and they barely take just that brown off, and then the hoof ends up being way too long, and then they look like they're wearing like moon shoes or something. So don't be afraid to take off part of the hoof like that. Don't be afraid to get in there and take off several layers, because as long as you're not seeing that pink line right away, you have a lot of playing room to go. And sometimes mom hasn't done it yet, but when you're new, pick up and set the foot down a lot and quite often, so you can get a look at where your line is and how the foot is sitting. And we'll get to that in here in a minute.
Least favorite part. All right, so you can see we've still got a lot of growth where that toe is turning over.
Get on a top view here.
I kind of want to clean all the junk out so you can see what's going on.
And so far, she hasn't really had any major signs of any hoof rot or anything. Her feet have been fairly clean, unless that's what you're getting into now. I can't tell.
Well, most of it'll be cut out.
She may not be a good example to show you the signs of foot rot, but we might get one when we start trimming more feet soon, and I might pop out the camera and show you guys that as we get to it. Every goat is different. Every goat has different feet. Some have harder feet than others. Some have softer feet than others. Those with the softer hooves have a little bit more, they're a little more prone to getting the foot rot, and it's normal. It's not a cull factor. It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with your goat. It's all about environment, weather, where you live. It's really, it has nothing. You can trim their feet as often as you're supposed to and keep them trimmed down, but foot rot is inevitable in every farm, just kind of depending on where you live and how much rain you get and the moisture that's in the ground that they're on. So you can't really avoid foot rot. Just some goats are a little bit more prone than others.
I'm in that pink right now. I'm going to try to take a little bit more off that edge. You see the pink? So basically I've tried to keep both sides even. A little bit more. You can see the dip. Alright, here's the other back foot. We're going to do the same thing. So far I haven't found anything to treat as far as any hoof rot.
Hold on, just.
So here we are on the other back foot. And I'm going to do the same exact thing. I've already taken some off that side. And if you're just beginning, like I said, you know, take time, put the foot down, go back, look at it, evaluate it, and see what you need to do.
As you can look from the back part, you can kind of tell that this piece over here, that side of her foot, the right side of her foot, is still a little bit shorter than the inside. Perfect, because we'll probably go back in a few weeks and kind of fix those back feet just a little bit more after they grow back out. That way we don't quicker today. And then when you look at the front, it's the same thing, a nice clean foot that is laying or sitting flat on the ground. It's straightened up her feet and legs a whole lot. She's not any longer rolling in on her toes, except for like this back foot here. And that was the worst one out of all of them. And you can kind of see that it still wants to turn in just a little bit, but it by no means is bad. I've seen them so bad that they're walking on the sides of their feet, or so down on their pasterns because the toe and the heel both are just so far grown out that, like Mom mentioned earlier, they look like they have duck feet. But you can kind of look at this hoof